My family still doesn't believe a woman should hold a secular or religious senior leadership. They don't believe in female presidents, female senators, female representatives, governors, mayors. I mean, you name it. I think the only exception is maybe if a woman ran for a school board, because, who cares more about what their kids learn than a woman, especially in conservative circles, Moms for Liberty. But women were never talked about in Christian books, in Christian libraries, in churches, as having their own agency. They were an extension of whatever man owned them. Their life didn't start until they met a man or had children. And being single was preparing you for marriage. It was never about your own life. You were always somebody else's property. Purity culture was a big thing when I was young. Growing up and learning that every time you do something that isn't platonic, you're basically being they would use a rose analogy, where every time you do something that isn't child-proof, you basically pull a petal off of a beautiful rose. For those who grew up in other denominations, I've heard of them, a group of teenagers all spitting into a can and then passing it to people and having them drink it. Or the tape analogy, where you put two pieces of tape next to each other and then pull them apart to show what fornication does to unmarried people. Purity culture damages women. The damage is different to everybody. Sometimes it can be PTSD, dissatisfaction with relationships, avoiding relationships entirely, not believing in feminism, believing you're less than, avoiding sex, being so uncomfortable in your skin. It's hard to be a whole person because you don't know how to be safe within your own skin. There's a lot of women out there that haven't a clue what consent is because they don't realize that their body belongs to them, which actually goes against what the Bible teaches. The Bible teaches that your body belongs to your husband. I think that's in the New Testament. And women don't own their own body. They don't own their own mind. And whatever women do to find happiness in their life is just to pass time until they get married. And there's nothing wrong with being married and having kids if that's what you want to do. But a lot of people grow up, especially women, in fundamentalism. That's all they're allowed to want. We call it trad wife now. And you look at people like the Duggars, where the girls grow up and they're not allowed to have dreams besides supporting their husband. Women aren't allowed to have dreams. Their goal in life, their job, is to support their husband's dreams. And you look at any book in most Baptist churches, I would say Focus on the Family is one of the biggest contributors to Baptist church libraries. I don't know of a single person in the New Testament. I don't know of a single woman in the New Testament that's known for being a sexually independent, autonomous person. I think in the Old Testament, I guess you could call people like Ruth and Esther as sexually independent forces of nature, but I don't really know of any in the New Testament. Women, especially myself, grew up in Southern Baptist churches where we had no autonomy, agency, sovereignty. We didn't own our own bodies. Basically, anything we did or didn't do was protecting the validity of ourselves for the person who would own us next. And it's one of the most depressing things women deal with. They never own themselves. Luckily, there's a lot of denominations out there that reject purity culture and reject the gender roles that are forced on